Tonight on CTV News at 6. The fire was deliberately set.
Shortly before the fire started, an individual was seen behind the building.
Police in Sudbury are looking for this person. Early morning blaze. 7 teens at this North Bay home were able to evacuate safely. And there were multiple offers.
A heritage designated building with some structural issues is a little bit more complicated than your regular building that might require some work.
The sale of the historic Bell Mansion in Sudbury is complete.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you're with us on this Monday. 3 people in the greater Sudbury community of Valcarin have been charged with weapons trafficking after a complaint Sunday. The complaint led police to a residence on Municipal Road 80. 3 individuals fled the area as police arrived. 2 were arrested immediately, while the third ran off into the bush. Police brought in the K9 unit, and the third person was found at a residence on Percy Avenue. They surrendered to police without incident. 2 men and a woman are now facing several weapons and weapons trafficking related charges. North Bay police are trying to track down a dangerous driver that nearly hit 3 students near St. Joseph Schollard Hall Friday morning. Police say the driver of this 2025 gray Volkswagen Jetta was observed traveling at a high rate of speed through the school's back parking lot before turning left onto McLeod Street, nearly hitting 3 students and a pole before fleeing the scene. Police add incidents like this highlight the importance of community safety zones, and they continue to urge drivers to exercise extreme caution in these areas.
The actions of that driver put 3 lives at risk. We nearly had a fatal accident. We're hoping that people that were in the area the morning of Halloween, if they have dash cam video, anybody with video that lives in the area that might be able to assist us identify this vehicle would be much appreciated.
Anyone with information about the driver or the vehicle should contact North Bay Police or Crime Stoppers. A Sudbury man is facing charges after a collision in Sault Ste. Marie. Officers witnessed the crash at the intersection of Cathcart and Huron Streets around 9:30 Thursday night. Police say the driver drove through a stop sign, striking another vehicle, and then fled the scene on foot with their passengers. 2 people in the vehicle that was struck in the incident were taken to hospital, 1 with life-threatening injuries. And those who had fled the scene were arrested, with the 20-year-old driver facing 14 charges, including theft of a motor vehicle, impaired operation causing bodily harm, and fail to remain. A fire in a shed next to a convenience store in Sudbury is being investigated as an arson. CTV's Lindsay Alick has more.
Fire crews were called to Legacy Convenience on Saturday at around 1:30 p.m.
Our crews arrived and found that the shed was indeed on fire, and that fire was potentially spreading to the exterior of the convenience store. Our crews were able to get the fire out. However, the shed was a complete loss. The damage to the exterior of the convenience store was moderate, and there was some slight smoke and water damage in the building.
I'm feeling grateful, actually. I feel love from my neighbors who provided us the jackets and everything we need.
Singh is one of 4 owners who just took over the store 10 days ago.
We've been already talking with the insurance and everything. They're going to cover that. And the interior is fine, so we're open right now.
Police were dispatched to assist with traffic control, but through investigation, it was determined to be a suspected arson.
Shortly before the fire started, an individual was seen behind the building, and then when the person came out from behind the building, the fire started moments later. So through video surveillance footage, officers have been able to obtain an image of the individual.
Dunn says this is the person of interest. If anyone has any information about who this is or where they are, contact police. Officers continue to canvass the area for more information and video surveillance. According to fire services, it's estimated that the damage is valued at $150,000. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Some teens were able to escape a burning home early Saturday morning in North Bay's Airport Hill area. At just after 5 a.m., crews from all 3 stations were dispatched to 75 Janey Avenue. They were met with flames in the roof and at the back of the home. All 7 teenagers were able to safely evacuate after being alerted to the danger by smoke alarms. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Officials say this is another reminder that working smoke and carbon monoxide alarms can save lives. Provincial police are urging parents in the Mattawa area to carefully inspect their children's Halloween candy following a report of a suspicious substance they believe was found in a bag of chips. Police say on Saturday a family in the Chenier Road area of Papineau Cameron, Mattawa, reported finding a bag of chips that appeared to have been cut open and resealed. Officers conducted a preliminary test and found suspected morphine. Police say there are no additional reports of similar incidents. Officers are recommending parents and guardians inspect all Halloween trees for signs of tampering. More than $13,000 in fines have been handed out for moose hunting violations. 2 men were fined for hunting moose without a license, not wearing hunter orange, and transporting unlawfully killed wildlife in 2022. One of the men was fined more than $11,000 and is suspended from hunting for 5 years. The other man was fined $2,500 for his part in transporting the unlawfully killed animal. You can learn more about this and all of our stories on our website, CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. Shifting gears now, it's time for our first check on weather. It is an unsettled Monday with more on what we can expect this week. Here's CTV's Rick Wyman.
It'll improve in some sectors by tomorrow, Tony, but then again, we've got more precipitation coming up Wednesday. It's a rather unsettled week, as you just alluded to. That's the precipitation that's leaving the northeast right now. We'll get a bit of clarity in our forecast for tomorrow, depending on where you live, and then more precipitation. So again, we'll talk about that. And of course, we'll feature your current conditions. We've all survived the time change. And of course, we'll talk about sunrise and sunsets coming up in just a couple of minutes. Tony, back to you.
Thanks, Rick. It's a new initiative still to come on CTV News at 6. Closed circuit television cameras are now operating in the Soo. And the historic Bell Mansion in Sudbury is under new ownership.
Tomorrow.
When did you first discover that you had this?
When I was 16 years old.
He spent his entire life suffering in silence.
I had to go grab the coffee, almost third-degree burns on your arm.
Until a chance encounter on the job.
She immediately looked at me and said,
I can fix that.
How this award-winning cameraman got a second shot.
I wonder, what else would I do? What else would I do?
Tomorrow on CTV National News and at ctvnews.ca.
A new initiative aimed at increasing public safety is now underway in Sault Ste. Marie. Residents should prepare to smile if they're at one of 28 locations that will now have CCTV cameras monitoring 24/7. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more.
30 closed-circuit television cameras are now up and running at 28 intersections in the Soo. It's an initiative 2 years in the making that has seen equal $150,000 investments from the province and the police force.
The evidence shows that in communities where it's used, it helps a lot. And so we don't know, how much it's going to help in the Soo, but I suspect that we will be in line with how other communities have benefited from this type of system.
The locations for the CCTV cameras was chosen based off data, both from crime statistics and historic calls for service.
We have cameras, obviously, in the area of rest homes and retirement facilities. So if we get a person, Alzheimer patient or something like that wanders away, it can give us a direction of travel, which can focus our resources on that.
Hopefully this system will allow us to get onto that information a lot quicker and give us a quicker starting point for some of the investigations we're doing. Crime accidents, traffic accidents obviously would be a prime example of that. You have an accident, Great Northern and Second Line, we have cameras set up at that location. You'd be able to pull the video up and see who ran the red light or if there's any other vehicles involved, that type of thing.
A list of the camera locations can be found on the Police Services website, and each intersection with one will be marked. Police officials say they are waiting on contractors to get the next round of these cameras installed.
We have already made the purchase of those cameras. I think there's 15 additional cameras. Some of those cameras have multi-lenses, so you can put them in an intersection, cover kind of two directions.
Duguay says He hopes the rest of the cameras will be installed within the next 6 months. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
The new owner of a historic property in Sudbury took possession over the weekend. CTV's Angela Gemmell has more on what's in store for Bell Mansion.
After 57 years, Bellrock has a new owner. Sudbury-based Devla Properties bought the 8,000 square foot building and 2.1 acres of land. No one was available for an interview, but a statement in part says, "Our team is deeply committed to the preservation and respectful restoration of this landmark." While the developer's plans are in the preliminary stages, officials say maintaining the Bellrock Mansion's integrity, ensuring that its story continues to stand proudly within our city's historic landscape, is part of their vision. Previously owned by Laurentian University, in a news release, the school says it sold the property for $1.25 million. LU's president saying in a statement, "Our hope was to be able to transfer this property to someone who can carry forward the legacy of the Bell Mansion, engage with local cultural and community groups, and honor the history of this important Sudbury landmark. We are pleased to have realized this with the new owner." Proceeds will be used to support the ongoing renewal of the school's facilities. The building has structural issues.
A heritage designated building with some structural issues is a little bit more complicated than your regular building that might require some work. So I do believe everybody was informed, and some people felt they could take that on, and others felt it was just too much.
Built in 1907 by William and Catherine Bell, the Bellrock property is a historical site designated under the Ontario Heritage Act. That means the new owner must get written consent from the municipality for any changes. The city had previously said it would uphold the status of Bell Mansion as a historical site. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
It's being funded by the City of Greater Sudbury, and it's open right now. That story from CTV's Alan Everson.
This trailer is now open 24/7, operating as a warming center. It closes for 2 intervals of cleaning and restocking, coinciding with mealtimes at the Samaritan Center.
We're offering coffee and snacks. We're offering washroom access. We do host wound care clinics as well as storage for individuals accessing the facility. And that's being offered around the clock.
Bins are provided to people to secure their belongings while inside.
That does come into the center is encouraged to place their belongings in tote bins, which are labeled and put away. This just ensures that we have less clutter in the main space, as well as safety and reduce the possibility of theft of items.
The barrier-free washroom has a foot wash station for individuals to use. Harm reduction supplies are available, but there is a no substance use policy inside the warming center. There are always 2 security guards on site. The city says there are currently 250 people living in encampments across 60 locations.
There's no intention to move everyone living in an encampment into Energy Court encampment. The warming center, opened up at Energy Court by Go Give, is available to anyone experiencing homelessness in our community. Last year, the Energy Court was able to support an average of 160 people per night.
The Go Give project says client navigators with the city and staff with the homelessness network come by the center on a regular basis to connect with clients. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Back now for a check on your current conditions. Here's Rick.
Okay, Tony, let's get used to some sunrise and sunset conditions now, because everything's changed as a result of the time change on the weekend. Here we go with Greater Sudbury for tomorrow, 7:10, your sunrise, 5:04 sunset, 7:23 in the Soo, 5:17. The sunset in Timmins, 7:16 and 5 o'clock. Temiskaming Shores, 7:07 and 4:56, and North Bay, 7:03 and 4:58. Now your current temperatures across the northeast, a lot of precipitation. Mooseedee, Cochrane, Timmins, and Kapuskasing all this hour. And the temperatures, well, we wish it was a lot warmer. Chapleau at 5, some clouds in Wawa, and mainly cloudy in Sault Ste. Marie at 9 this hour. Here we go in Parry Sound. The winds are continuing there. 10 degrees. The winds will diminish later on this evening. 4 in the Bay. Temiskaming Shores 5 and Kirkland Lake 4. Greater Sudbury 6. Espanola 7. Elliott Lake 6 and Gore Bay 9. Your 7-day forecast and the pick of the day coming up.
Thanks, Rick. The Premier reacts next on CTV News at 6. Doug Ford responds to claims the Prime Minister told him to pull the anti-tariff ad. And Mark Carney's Liberal government is set to roll out its budget tomorrow. Doug Ford's anti-tariff ad continues to be the talk of Queen's Park. Today, the Premier saying he would never apologize, regardless of who already has. CTV's Siobhan Morris has the latest.
Trade barriers hurt every American worker.
A week after it was pulled from U.S. TV networks, there's bigger bluster from the Premier defending his anti-tariff ad featuring the voice of former President Ronald Reagan.
There's never been an ad in the history of this world that has seen 12.4 billion views.
On Friday, the Prime Minister revealed he hadn't wanted the ad to run at all.
Did you inform Mr. Ford that this is something that you did not want to go forward with?
Yes.
There we go, guys.
Doug Ford doesn't want to fall into what he calls a bear trap of explaining who said what.
I had a different recollection of our conversation.
Sharing that Mark Carney did keep up the pressure.
He called me from Asia a couple times and said, pull the ad.
Not relenting until after trade talks with the U.S. abruptly stopped.
No deal's better than a bad deal. And that's what President Trump wants.
While Ford is unrepentant.
I did apologize to the president. President was offended by the act, or by the ad, rather.
Ford calls the "I'm sorry" the Prime Minister's prerogative, but it's not something you'd catch him doing.
I'll never apologize to Donald Trump, ever. They put me on a stretching rack, I wouldn't apologize.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 46.
Ford credits the ad with reviving debate on tariffs in the U.S. Senate.
Donald Trump has stopped the discussions because a TV ad hurt his feelings.
4 Republicans jumped over and voted against tariffs on Canada.
But those are Republicans who'd already spoken out against tariffs before the ad was on television.
It didn't sway any votes in the Senate. Right? It wasn't the greatest ad in human history. It was an unforced error.
I wish the Premier would spend as much time developing a jobs plan for Ontario as he is looking at the number of views on his ad.
Worried about communities like Ingersoll, where GM is ending production of an electric delivery van because of low demand.
I want to tell you what one of the members said to me. He said, this ego clash is killing us.
Despite all the back and forth over the ad, the Premier insists his relationship with the Prime Minister is still strong, and he believes Mark Carney is doing his best to reach a trade deal for Canada. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The U.S. Supreme Court is going to hear arguments this week that President Trump has exceeded his authority and abused his powers by arbitrarily slapping countries, including Canada, with tariffs. The case centers on whether Trump had the authority to do it, considering those powers typically belong to the U.S. Congress, not the president. Trump says he won't be attending the hearings.
Without tariffs, without our being able to use tariffs freely, openly, and in every way, we would suffer tremendously from a national security standpoint. The national security of our country is at stake. It's the biggest, I think it's one of the biggest decisions in the history of the Supreme Court.
America's highest court is set to begin hearing arguments Wednesday. There's a lot at stake for the president. A lower court has already ruled that Trump overstepped his authority to impose most of his tariffs. The case will be closely watched in Canada, but the ruling won't affect tariffs that are already in place on Canadian steel, aluminum, autos, and lumber. The Prime Minister has warned Canadians tough choices and sacrifices will be needed because of American tariffs. CTV's Abigail Beeman now with what Canadians can expect from tomorrow's budget presentation.
In the pre-budget day new shoe buying tradition, the finance minister got hands-on at a factory, underlining build Canadian, buy Canadian.
The budget tomorrow is all about, it's an investment budget. It's a generational shift.
The government now only stressing investment.
C'est un budget d'austérité et d'investissement.
While in early September, Justin French, Mark Carney also said austerity. Late October, a reference to sacrifices.
We won't transform our economy easily or in a few months. It will take some sacrifices.
Pounced on by opposition.
All our young Conservatives are fighting for homes, jobs, and hope, and they refuse to sacrifice their future.
We will not support an austerity approach.
There will be big spending in that budget, which goes against, I think, the logic of austerity. So there is a kind of tension here.
Desjardins economists predict the deficit will hit $75 billion.
I don't think you can characterize a $75 billion deficit as an austerity budget or austerity deficit.
There are obviously unanswered questions about just what is getting cut. Public service jobs most discussed. And the government has also promised to maintain some big-ticket programs and spend more on defense.
Austerity will mean different things to different people. And those who are most impacted will see the austerity. You can see public servants who are going to be impacted will view this as an austerity budget. The unions will view this as an austerity budget.
The Liberals are just 3 seats shy of a majority, meaning they need some help from the opposition parties in order to pass this budget in the confidence vote ahead or risk heading to an election. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
There's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Here we go, Tony. First full week of November, and this is what we've got coming and going. Of course, we've got precipitation now leaving the area. Bit of a break for tomorrow, depending on where you live, and then, well, more precipitation by Wednesday. We've got sleet and some shower activity, and some sun and cloud and some sunny skies. Really a little bit of everything. Right across the northeast, chance of showers. Sudbury at 1, Sault Ste. Marie at 6, Timmins 0, Temiskaming Shores 1, and North Bay at 1 as well. Moosonee, chance of showers, of course, at 2, Caphurst 0, Wawa -1, Gore Bay 5, and Parry Sound at 4. The winds in Parry Sound will die down a little bit later on this evening. Sudbury Nickel Belt, here we go. Sun and cloud tomorrow at 8, chance of rain on Wednesday. Then it's nice again. Thursday, sunny skies. Then it rains again on Friday. Then it's nice on Saturday. Then we have the chance of sleet on Sunday with the reading of +1. Sault Ste. Marie Algoma, mainly sunny tomorrow, then the chance of rain. Thursday, some sun and cloud, then the chance of sleet, cloud cover, and the chance of sleet again comes Sunday. Take a look at the variation in temperatures over the course of the next 5 to 7 days. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of sleet for a couple of days. Then it gets nice at +1 on Thursday. Then we've got flurries on Friday, 60% chance. Then Saturday we've got some sun and cloud, and Sunday chance of flurries. Take a look at -11, the overnight low come Friday evening, -9 on Saturday, and -11 again on Sunday. It's coming. Get ready for that. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, mainly sunny tomorrow at 8. Chance of showers Wednesday. Then it's nice again Thursday with the sun at 2. Friday, chance of flurries. Saturday, some sun and cloud, -2. Sunday, we've got the chance of flurries at -1, so the variation continues. We have some nice temperatures, then it gets kind of cool, more so at evening as well. The evening temperatures, we go from 0, -3, -9, and -6 degrees over the course of the next 7 days. North Bay and West Nipissing, here we go. Sun and cloud tomorrow at 9. Chance of rain Wednesday at 5. 3 degrees Thursday with the sunshine. Friday, chance of showers. And again, Saturday, sun and cloud. That variation of some sun and cloud. Then we've got rain or sleet. And again, comes Sunday to cap it all off. Only +1 with the chance of sleet and some sun and cloud come next Monday. Normally, the temperatures for this time of the year in northeastern Ontario sitting at around 5 or 6 degrees. So above normal and below normal for this time of the year. Let's have a look at our pick of the day. Of course, we're all wearing poppies here at CTV, and lest we forget, Trevor Bush sent this to me last week, and I've been holding off on it, Trevor, because I think it's certainly appropriate over the course of time between now and November the 11th. Veterans Crosswalk, Main Street in Callander. I love it. Thank you so much. And I urge all Canadians to wear that poppy in the next couple of days. Stick around. More news coming up after the break.
If you're scrolling on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, chances are you'll see ads for products, many at a huge discount. While some of these items for sale may be legitimate, others could be cheap knockoffs that are of poor quality. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
I'm upset. I'm angry. I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
Jackie Belfour of Niagara Falls was on Facebook when an ad popped up for a clothing store that claimed it was going out of business.
I found a 3-piece outfit and a pair of shoes that I liked.
She paid $135, but when the merchandise arrived, Belfour says it was cheaply made, and the shoes she thought were leather were plastic.
These are a $65 pair of shoes that are absolute plastic junk.
The website appeared to be based in Canada, but she was told she would have to return the items to China at a cost of almost $100, and there was no guarantee she would get a refund.
I felt ripped off. I felt that everything about this website had been misleading and really fraudulent.
Is Facebook certified advertisement? Don't believe it. It's still a big scam.
Jinri Fu of Aurora needed a taillight for his truck. He found a company on Facebook and sent them $250. Then he was told he would have to pay more for insurance, and the part never showed up.
I feel like not comfortable because I trust the Facebook.
They're getting very hard to distinguish between what's real and what's fake.
Social media expert Janita Panu says while consumers may believe ads have been vetted by the platforms they appear on, she says that's not the case.
Scammers are building these Facebook pages, running ads for a short period of time, and they would collect payments and maybe never deliver on the product.
To avoid ad scams, confirm you're on a legitimate website, use caution buying through social media shops, contact the company in advance of the purchase, and be suspicious of massive discounts and deals that seem too good to be true. If a price is so low that it doesn't make sense, chances are it's a fake ad. Pat Foran, CTV News.
The Rotary Club of Sudbury Sunriser's most recent fundraiser was a big hit. The Vive le Vin event took place this weekend. Wine and cheese were in abundance, and so was generosity. The event raised more than $40,000, which will help the Sunrisers invest in Rotary Park, Rotary Youth Initiatives, and community charities. A new study out of St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto looks at the implications of having a doctor who is more than 30 kilometers away. CTV's Pauline Chan has the details.
Dr. Archana Gupta's study grew out of her own experiences as a family physician when she noticed many patients had to travel long distances to see her.
For some of them, it was that they had been with the clinic for a long time, but for many of them, it was, I moved during COVID and I've not been able to find anyone locally. And so having someone far away is better than having no one at all.
In a study that's the first of its kind, she looked at just under 10 million Ontarians.
This included all Ontarians that are rostered to a family physician through one of the primary care enrollment models.
Meaning Ontarians without a family doctor, and even those living in rural settings beyond urban and suburban areas, were not included. Researchers found about 13% of patients live more than 30 kilometers from their primary care team.
What we found is that when patients live farther away from their family physician or their primary care team, they have more emergency department use, particularly for non-urgent reasons.
Continuity of care also suffers with less primary care visits when the doctor is further away.
And they have less preventative care screening for colon cancer, breast cancer, and cervical cancer screening.
She says ideally the system would work like schools, so if a family moves, they're immediately transferred to the new school in their area.
Ontario's Primary Care Act that was passed in 2025 is a great opportunity for us to think about how we can revolutionize primary care kind of in the next 4 years.
She says transferring families to closer primary health care and making sure more physicians are placed in underserved areas will ensure earlier diagnoses and better continuity of care. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A special ceremony in Sudbury recently offered a heartfelt salute to some heroes. 3 veterans were recognized for their service and sacrifice as they received their prestigious honor, the Quilt of Valor. More now from CTV's Amanda Hicks.
The Legion was filled with emotion as 3 veterans, Rick Smith, James Simpson, and John McNeil, were individually draped with a quilt of valor. Simpson, a retired Master Warrant officer, dedicated 33 years of service to the Canadian Armed Forces. For him, the recognition is about more than just himself.
We appreciate any recognition that we get from the public, not only for ourselves, but for the ones who have gone and for the ones that are suffering. The Afghan veterans, especially now, come back torn and hurt and have a big struggle to get back into society. So that's how I feel. I feel very proud to accept this on behalf not only of myself, but of the other veterans.
Quilts of Valor is a non-profit agency that began in Alberta in 2006 as a civilian expression of gratitude for those who have been wounded or ill or who suffer from operational stress injuries as a result of their service. The handmade quilts are crafted by volunteers across the country and are given to veterans nominated for the honor.
Some of our veterans will put them up on the wall and nobody can touch them. Others will use them every day. And so I had one veteran who told me that anytime he's feeling really badly, he wraps himself in his quilt and it makes him feel well enough to keep going.
They gave up their time and, had injuries and just to be recognized and honor them.
The program is about more than just a blanket. It's a tangible way of saying thank you for a veteran's sacrifice, wrapping them in warmth and respect. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
They're tiny dolls that have made a big impact, and now so have knitters from an Ottawa area retirement home. They've made more than 800 Izzy dolls that will be sent to kids in war zones overseas, continuing a tradition started by a fallen peacekeeper. CTV's Katie Griffin has that story.
All right. Inside these boxes, I think you're gonna need more cards. Yeah. Precious cargo.
I did 225 myself, and it's been a joy to do them for the kids.
Noella Claroux is a resident at Kentville Retirement Living. She and others knitting hundreds of Izzy dolls.
We had a knitting club on Tuesday and we all got together and we all knit.
The dolls, symbols of friendship and peace, are named after Master Corporal Mark Isfeld. He was killed by a landmine while on tour in Croatia 31 years ago. Before his death, his mom made dolls he distributed to children wherever he went.
We have 883 Izzy dolls with us today.
His legacy living on.
It's amazing. In one swoop, they've given us more dolls than we raised all of last year.
The group donating the dolls to the Canada Aviation and Space Museum.
So what we do with them is after November, we pile them together and we send them over to Health Partners International Canada, HPIC, who use them as packing materials for their medical kits that they send out to places in need.
Dolls are then distributed to local children.
And of course, I had to hop on board. We had so many donations of wool, every different color and kind, and it was just fun to pick out different ones and make our own creations.
It's something to do together. A lot of these ladies would knit in their room before, and now they come and they gather in the main lounge and they knit together.
Making a big impact, one tiny doll at a time.
Really like a picture of kids receiving them to put up in our home.
Katie Griffin, CTV News, Ottawa.
He's a funny man. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. Gilson Lubin is coming to Greater Sudbury, and he's bringing something with him.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
A comedian from Southern Ontario is bringing his act north. Gilson Lubin will be performing at Cousin Vinny's in Chelmsford on November 15th. Gilson now joins us from Toronto. Hi there.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
When did you realize you were funny and then decided to become a comedian?
Well, it's more so realizing that everyone's laughing at you. And then the second part is realizing Canada is the place I could do comedy, which I never knew before. But yeah, I've known for a while. I've been quite the babysitter. This is a true story. I'm from St. Lucia, Caribbean island, beautiful St. Lucia, which, by the way, before I move further, I got to remind you guys, there is not a St. Lucian flag on that Sudbury bridge. I'm not playing.
You're right.
I'm bringing a flag to that bridge. It's going to be the smallest flag because I can't find a big regular size, but I'm going to have a St. Lucian flag for the Sudbury Bridge. Just wanted to get that out of the way. As far as the comedy goes, I've been a wonderful babysitter. In the island of St. Lucia, we pride ourselves on taking nothing serious. You know, we laugh 24/7, and I just love people. I sincerely love people. So that's where the comedy comes from. It's effortless. I'm built for this. Like, I love people too much to fail as a comedian. This is the last line of defense.
Gilson, you said people laughed at you. They're not laughing with you?
Well, I prefer them laughing with me, but as long as they're laughing. Truthfully, I think that the trick is, people always ask me about this, but I think that the trick is remembering that we're actually all funny. What I am is the teller of the story. Every joke has a victim. They may be laughing at me, with me, but as long as they're laughing, but as the teller of the story, which we all are, it's my job to point out why something's funny, why it is that we're laughing. And that's where my true passion comes from. I love seeing people happy, even more so than anything, you know? This is something that I take quite seriously, ironically. Comedy is no joke.
I have seen some of your videos. People are laughing a lot. And I understand you came to Canada because of the weather?
Stop, guys, stop. I swear. I swear a lot when I laugh. I'm trying to contain this. I definitely did not come to Canada for the weather. That's the last thing. Had I know, you know what it's like to move to Canada and not know what you're getting into as a kid? You know what it's like to have to learn a whole new vocabulary, words I never had to use before, like took and minus 5? You guys took away the weather. Minus. I never had to say things like this. I would not do this deliberately. But I am joyful for Canada. You know, I do love the country.
Gilson Lubin was our guest. And to find out more about this comedian, head to Facebook and search Gilson Lubin. A Sudbury artist began a challenge to push her creativity and talent further every day for a whole year. CTV's Madison Merrier lays down the brush strokes on the story.
Carmen Martorella has painted a masterpiece every single day for a year, and she only has a few days left before completing her journey.
Painting is my passion, and I just want to improve and become a better artist. So what better way to do that is to paint daily as a professional artist.
Martorella said that some of her pieces were harder than others, but her dedication has paid off with the Sudbury Food Bank.
I had entered the draw for quite a few years now, and I was never selected. So this year they selected 2 of my paintings in the draw for the Christmas card campaign. So all of the proceeds from those cards will go to the food bank.
When you purchase the card for them, we then purchase a meal for a person who's less fortunate, a holiday meal for them through the Christmas season. It's we've done it for years. It's one of our most successful campaigns ever. The public loves it, the sponsors love it, the artists love it, and heck, we love it. So it's fantastic.
While having 2 of her pieces selected for the around 40 submissions the food bank received this year, the fact that she will finish 365 paintings in just a few days is a big win.
I had fun doing that. Some days it was not so fun. It was like, oh, I got to get through this day. But you know what? You have to persevere. When you have a goal, persevere, get it done.
The Sudbury Food Bank will be showing off this year's card selections at the Art of Dessert on November 6th. And Martorella will be showing off her 365 days of painting at her gallery on November 15th, proving perseverance pays off. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
It's time now for our weekend wrap on the OHL. It was all tricks and no treats for the Sudbury Wolves Halloween night in Kitchener. The Rangers scored 1 goal per period, including an empty netter in the third for a 3-0 victory over the Wolves. Saturday was a better showing for the Wolves, but they ultimately fell to the Owen Sound attack 4-3. The Sioux Greyhounds had a romp Saturday in Oshawa. Brady Martin had a goal and 2 assists on the night. The Greyhounds take a major bite out of the Generals, winning 6-1. And Sunday, the North Bay Battalion scored 4 unanswered goals in the third period against the Niagara Ice Dogs. The troops go on to a 6-2 victory. A look at the standings in the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League. The Hearst Lumberjacks are slowly pulling away from the pack. We're having some technical problems, but the real race, folks, is from 2nd to 5th. The Thunderbirds were in 2nd place just a week ago. Now the Cubs are holding that spot. There are the standings. Meanwhile, the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners are digging a hole as they drop down 2 spots in the standings to 10th. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games. Canadian teen tennis sensation Victoria Mboko has won the Hong Kong Open, her 2nd WTA title of the season.
Victoria Mboko's sensational season is sealed in style.
The 19-year-old from Toronto defeated Spain's Cristina Bukshu in 3 sets today. The win moves Mboko into 18th place in the WTA Top 20 rankings. From 19th century Ireland to futuristic sci-fi, we travel the ages with David Daniel in tonight's Hollywood Report.
Oh, cool. We're trying.
Keanu Reeves has a lot to deal with in his next sci-fi film. He's set to star in Shiver from Deadpool director Tim Miller. The Hollywood Reporter says details are sparse, but it's believed to be about a smuggler dealing with a deadly double-cross, hungry sharks, and a time loop.
It was so cool.
Keeping up with the Joneses as Bridgets. Daisy Edgar Jones from Twisters and Amelia Jones from Coda are reportedly set to star in Bad Bridgets, about 19th century sisters who flee famine-ravaged Ireland for New York. Filming is planned for Ireland and Northern Ireland next spring.
Head high, arms wide, aching, 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 and
Florence and the Machine have a Halloween hit. The group released its latest album, Everybody Scream, on Friday, and a Billboard poll published that day named the album music fans' favorite new release of the week. The band plans a tour supporting the album, launching in February in Belfast and reaching the U.S. in April. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
A $48 billion U.S. deal will see big brands like Tylenol and Band-Aid change hands. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more tonight.
Kenvue is a company being bought by Kimberly-Clark. Shares of Kenvue have been dragged down for weeks by Donald Trump's false claim that using Tylenol during pregnancy causes autism. But those shares gained today. Kimberly-Clark will pay a premium for Kenvue. Kimberly-Clark owns brands like Kleenex and Huggies and expects to save $2 billion a year once the deal settles. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.15. West Texas Intermediate crude is up a few cents to 61.05. Western Canadian Select is also up 48 cents to 48.69. And the TSX hardly moved today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down $1.28, closing the day at $4,001.44 U.S. an ounce. Silver slipped 59 cents to end the day at 48.08. Copper, no change. And nickel down 4 cents, ending the day at 6.76 U.S. a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Tuesday weather.
Okay, Tony, the on-again, off-again weather continues tomorrow. We've got some sunshine in the forecast in some areas. As we take a look at what we've got going right now, let's not get too heavy-handed here. Let's go back to Sudbury at 8, some sun and cloud. Timmins, chance of sleet at 7. Sault Ste. Marie at 10, mainly sunny skies for tomorrow. Meanwhile, in North Bay, 9, sun and cloud, chance of showers, Parry Sound, and 6 to 8 degrees to Miskaming Shores, mainly sunny. Tony?
Thanks, Rick. Finally, the first week of November is Polar Bear Week, and the Cochrane Polar Bear Habitat is celebrating it in a big way. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
At this time of year, Henry and Ganuk at the Cochrane Polar Bear Habitat
get a hankering for pumpkin.
So pumpkin is actually kind of an empty food for them. It tastes really good, but it does just go directly through their digestive systems. It doesn't really do anything for them. There's going to be a lot of pumpkin poop for us to pick up in the coming days.
80 Creek Gardens personally delivered the giant award-winning squash from the Port Elgin Pumpkin Fest to the habitat. It otherwise would have been composted.
It's actually my buddy's pumpkin. I left mine behind and brought his home because mine had a little soft spot, so it wasn't going to last a whole long time. So it's Atlantic Giant Pumpkin, and it's 1,481 pounds.
Officials say the bears thoroughly enjoyed the pumpkin once they realized it was food.
Henry actually came out and didn't know what it was, and got actually quite defensive toward it. He started showing some defensive behaviors because I think he was just quite shocked at this new thing in his enclosure. But once he was able to investigate it, and he realized that it was nothing to be afraid of.
We probably watched them for 45 minutes, just chewing at it, pulling at it. Then she gave me a tour of a bit of the other stuff they do while we were there. So my daughter was with me. It was pretty fun to watch. I'd never seen that before.
The pumpkin party happens Sunday as a way to celebrate Polar Bear Week, which coincides with the migration and congregation of polar bears on the Hudson Bay coast. Baxendale Young says it's a good time to talk about the creatures and how to protect them.
Unfortunately, it's too soon to say that we've seen positive changes just yet. Climate does go up and down every year. Some years we have good winters, some years we have bad winters.
The Cochrane Polar Bear Habitat is hosting more events throughout the week, including a virtual art lesson and $2 visits on Saturday. These events round out the busy summer tourist season as the Habitat gets ready for snowmobiling season. Habitat officials say they've been putting a lot of effort into marketing the Habitat, including...
Folks, that's CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. More news comes our way at 11:30. Good night.